Hello YouTube, this is Todd from Red River Tactical and Outdoors, and today I'm going to talk about handgun fundamentals. I know if you go to a basic NRA class or your concealed carry class, they're going to teach you fundamentals as stance, aiming, grip, and trigger control. That's going to be the four fundamentals they teach you. When I teach my classes, I teach the G.A.P method, the G.A.P, and that stands for grip, aim, and press. Now first off, I agree that grip is not a fundamental, grip is a technique. You can hold the gun any kind of way you want to hold it and get a shot to go on target. I agree with that and I understand it. But the reason I put grip into a fundamental is with a handgun, you need to have fast follow-up shots. And if you don't have a perfect grip, you're not going to be able to have fast follow-up shots. The second thing that the grip helps you with is aligning the sights. If you've got a perfect grip on the gun, your sights are already aligned. The only thing that's out of alignment is you, and when you find that front sight, your sights are lined up and you're ready to take the shot if you've got a perfect grip. So grip to me is probably one of the most important things that you can have in your fundamental toolbox. The A in G.A.P stands for aim. So you got the perfect grip. All you're wanting to do is find the front sight, put the front sight on the target, and the P in G.A.P stands for press. Grip, aim, and press. After you find your front sights and get your front sight on the target, you got the proper grip so your sights are lined up. Now all you got to do is press the trigger to the rear smoothly without disturbing the sights, and your bullet goes exactly where you want it to go. So what I'm going to look at right now today is going to be the grip. So what we're working with today is a Glock 19, and most striker fired guns are going to fall into the category of the Glock 19 when I talk about grip. The 1911s, the Beretta 92s, stuff like that, I'm going to make a little note here and there in the video where you have to adjust your grip a little bit on those guns to be able to shoot them. Alright, so with the Glock 19, this gun is unloaded. It does not have a magazine in it. And there's the trigger pull. This is called the backstrap or the tang of the gun. I'm going to get up here close where you can see the gun mainly. The backstrap or the tang of the gun. So the first thing you want to do in establishing a proper grip is bring your dominant shooting hand, which in this case is going to be my right hand. I'm going to get up as high on that backstrap as I could possibly get. This trigger finger goes one of two places. It has an index point right here. Some people like to index it on the ejection port, and that's fine. Other people like myself, I've stippled a place on the frame there, and that's where my finger goes when it either goes there or on the trigger. It's in one of those two places at all times. So if I'm not on target, I'm on the frame. If I'm on target, I'm on the trigger. Off target, off trigger. Alright, so I'm back here behind this grip, or on this back strap, as high as I can get. Then my knuckles are wrapped around on the grip, underneath the trigger guard, tight up under the trigger guard, tight on the grip. And I'm squeezing as hard as I can squeeze, front to back, with this shooting hand. You cannot squeeze this gun too hard. Now the only thing is to bring my support hand into the grip. So if you look at this gun on this side, it looks like, I tell people to think of this as a puzzle piece. And what I have people do is I will have them point the gun straight out, take their support hand, come alongside the gun, and now I will tell them to tilt your support hand thumb toward the target that you're shooting on, which is like that. They will bend that wrist. Now I will just push that hand into the gun, and now that is a proper grip. You cannot get too high up on this gun. You need to be as high up on it with this thumb as you can get. Glock has a takedown lever here. This is the slide lock lever actually, and then they have a little space there that you can see is stippled. That is where your thumb should rest, right there, your support hand thumb. With your support hand thumb rested right there, your dominant hand thumb just kind of lays right over top of your support hand thumb. You're putting side to side pressure as tight as you can. You're completely up under the trigger guard, thumb on the gun, and as tight as you can, you're holding that gun as tight as you can possibly hold it. Now, if you got a grip like this, your sights are automatically lined up. You're not going to get your sights out of line. All you got to do is bring that gun up to your eye and put that front sight where it needs to go to make your shot. So that is the grip. Now, if you're shooting a 1911 or Beretta 92, if you've got a grip like this, you're going to have malfunctions because your thumb's riding against the slide, so you're going to have to come down. And usually what I tell people that shoot in those guns, where the takedown lever is, that's where you want this support hand thumb to rest, is right on the takedown lever. And that is if you're right-handed. You get that thumb down just a little bit to where the slide can function back and forth freely. Other than that, that's your grip. Left-handed will be the same thing, just opposite sides. You'll get as high up on the gun as you can get. Again, your fingers indexed high up here, tight. Still, just take your hand, point it toward the target, bring it in. And you're squeezing as tight as you can squeeze with both hands. Sights are lined up. So all I need to do is find the front sight, bring it up to my eye, and shoot. So that's your grip. So now that brings us to the P in G.A.P, which stands for trigger press. I am going to come closer to the camera for this. Just about all guns these days have what they call a reset, trigger reset. And back in the older days when 1911s and revolvers were the big thing, they taught you one continuous smooth motion on the trigger press from the front to the rear, which would be one smooth press all the way back to the rear. Then the Glocks and the striker-fired guns come out. People couldn't shoot them because of that. So what I tell people that shoot in the Glocks and the striker-fired guns, think of this as a two-stage trigger. So your first stage is going to be to take the creep or the take up or the slack, take that out of the trigger. So when you put your finger on the trigger, you got that movement right there. It's called the take up, creep, slack, whatever you want to call it. Then while you're taking that out, you hit a wall. Right there, you hit a wall. So now what I tell people, when I'm coming from a third position from the draw and pressing out to the target, I'm taking that slack out to when I get on target, I'm at that wall. Now on a Glock factory trigger, about 5.5 pounds of pressure breaks the shot from that wall. So what I would do is I'm on target, I'm ready to shoot, I break the shot. Once I break the shot, I hold the trigger, pin it to the rear of the gun. This is my follow through. It keeps me accurate. The gun will cycle. Now I'm going to bring the trigger back to the reset point and no further. If you listen, you'll hear that click. Hear that click. Now I'm at the reset point. I'm ready to break that shot again. Bang. Now I can bring it back to the reset point. Click. I'm at the reset point and I can break that shot again. Now if I do let my finger off the trigger every time I shoot, I have to work that slack back out and then break the shot. Work the slack back out and then break the shot. So you can shoot faster and more accurate if you shoot the reset. A lot of you's heard that term, shoot the reset. That's what that means, shooting that reset. A lot of instructors are getting away from that, telling people not to. That's crazy because it takes your accuracy, and I don't care what they say, it takes your speed out of the equation. Once you shoot that reset and get used to it, you're not spending time finding it. Your finger's automatically going to it every time. So the reset is going to make you more accurate. In the long run, it's going to make you faster. So shoot the reset on your pistols. Now in my G.A.P method there, grip, aim, and press, it says nothing about stance at all, right? But there is one thing that I really want to point out on stance. Stance, you don't get to pick how you're going to be standing in a gunfight, so I really don't care how you're standing. But there's actually two main importances you need in a good stance. You need to get behind the gun and lean on the gun. So you're leaning into the gun. You cannot lean too much into the gun. So if I'm shooting again, this gun's empty. So if I'm shooting, I'm going to lean into the gun and bring the gun to my eye. Another thing you don't want to do is duck that head down. From the side, it would look like this. Because when you do that, we call that the tactical turtle. You take your peripheral vision out of the equation, because all you can see right here is your arms. So bring the gun to your eye. Don't drop your shoulders or drop your head to the gun. So if I'm going to aim at the camera and I got a direct line to the camera, I'm at right here position 3 with the draw, and now I'm ready to press straight out to the target. I'm going to bring that up to my line of sight, and now I'm ready to press the trigger if I need to. Back to 3 on the draw. I'll show the draw here in a minute. But back to 3 on the draw. I'm aiming at the camera. My head is straight with the camera. I'm bringing the gun up to the camera lens, and that's how. That's the only thing about stance that I wanted to get out there. Don't duck your shoulders. Lean into the gun. Everything else is how it's going to be. In a perfect world, we're going to get an athletic approach on that. We're going to spread our legs about shoulder width apart, lean into that gun tight, but a lot of times you can't get in that perfect stance.